Well, good morning, Maria, and thank you so much for joining me here today. Uh, I, so, Maria, you and I met several years ago at a horse clinic in Condamine, and we discovered what a wonderful experience, wasn't it? And we discovered that we had a mutual friend with Carmen, and also that we both had jumped in to her online business. And our paths actually after that strayed apart because things happened in my life and I had to deal with that and heal. And I just watched you keep forging ahead. And wow, you have become such an inspiration to me that I just wanted to talk to you in person. Mind you, talking to you in person reminds me that actually I stayed with you last year when I did the Man from Snowy River ride, and that was just sensational.
Yeah,
But
you did. It was.
yeah, it was just a wonderful experience, wasn't it? Because you'd done it a few years before.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Maria, we're both horsey women. We're both married farmers, and our family have grown, and we're both empty nesters. So, what was it that attracted you to Carmen's online business?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Margarita, because as you said, we're both empty nesters, and that took away, all of a sudden, my focus was gone. Like my kids were my life. So, and they're still around, and they still, are there for me. But I just felt a bit lost. And of course, being on a farm, there's always, well, not finance issues, but the cash flow isn't huge. So if I wanted to go on a horse clinic or do anything for myself, I always felt a bit guilty for asking for the money to be able to do that. So I really felt I wanted my own income. And I had tried network marketing in smaller, low ticket items, which were very good products, but it wasn't for me. The doing in-home parties, trying to sell the product. I tried that for a few years and it just didn't gel with me. I'm a bit of an introvert and I just couldn't do it anymore. And I also could see that financially there really was no future for me. It wouldn't get me out of a pension. So I quit that. And then I suppose the line in the sand for me was a few years ago, my husband went through a cancer battle and I supported him all the way. And I'm pleased to tell you that he's completely cancer free now. But at the end of that, when he started, recovering, I fell to pieces because I'd given it my all. My cup was empty. And I think for about 6 months, I became a real hermit. I think I was depressed and I didn't really want to go out and do stuff. I just had no energy. But what I did do was scroll Facebook, as you do when you're sitting at home. And I followed Carmen and some other horsey friends for a while, and I noticed something was different about their posts. They were involved in some kind of business, I assumed it was. And I watched for a while and I got curious, but I was also very skeptic. I remember, I think I even texted Carmen and said, "Are you sure you know what you're doing? Is this not a scam? Please be careful." Because I really cared about her and I really wanted to make sure, she was doing the right thing. But she was. And
Yes,
she
yes.
basically told me, so I did reach out. Got curious and I said, "What is it you're doing?" So she pointed me to a webinar, a masterclass about the business, and I watched it, and I never looked back. It's probably the best decision I've made.
So, Maria, well, first of all, yes, I was also in a network marketing group, and in those days it was cold contacting, and it was absolutely revolting and horrible, and I didn't really last long. Yes, but so what was it about the business that really attracted you to stay in there?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Margarita, because of course I went into the business wanting to create an extra income stream. That was, I wanted money, I needed money. So that was my first goal, but I found so much more because the first thing I was told was to work on my mindset, to work on my relationship with money. What? I have a relationship with money? I didn't even know that. To work on my self-talk, think how you talk about yourself. And the same again with money. Are you always saying, oh, there's not enough, I haven't got the money, I can't afford it? Because the more you say that, the more you attract the same, which I didn't know at the time. So that was a huge eye-opener for me, because I've never done much self-development in my life. I didn't feel the need for it. I was happy, content with my life. I was busy. I still am, but I was busy bringing up my kids and on the farm and running holiday cottages. And I had never really thought about it, that I could ask myself questions about what I wanted to do, how I feel, what is my life like, where do I want to go. I'd never sat down and thought about that. So I think apart from the finances, that for me was one of the big eye openers, which I still love. I'm still learning every day. And of course, the community, which we'll probably touch on a bit later.
Yes, that's quite interesting, isn't it? Because as a mother, a wife, and in my case, an income earner, you're really the last person, and you're looking after everybody else's needs, that you just don't even think about your own needs. Now, you mentioned the community, and would you like to talk about the community? Because I just love the community.
Yeah.
And just to go back, that whole mindset is incredible, isn't it? It is just such a journey. And it becomes, the more you know you need to know. And it does really change your life, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, some people call it, you've woken up, you've awakened. And I feel like that too, because once you have seen that, you can't go back.
That's true.
Which is wonderful. So the community, which I didn't expect either, that would be such a big bonus. But I now have friends all over the world, because we are a global business, and because we do what we call attraction marketing. We don't go out cold calling or sending spammy messages to your family and friends, because I know when new people start, that's the first thing they say. I don't want to do cold calls. And I had the same thing when I started. I told Carmen, I'm not going to call people, cold calling, or even on my friends list. I don't want to do that. And it's the last thing. We don't do that. We're advised not to do that, because there is a huge community, a huge group of people out there that need what we have to offer, and that are in alignment with what you have to offer personally. So we learn how to create our own personal brand and attract people. It's called attraction marketing. People come to me because they feel aligned with me. They recognize where I'm coming from. We're on the same page. So I'm building a team of like-minded people, which is fantastic. So
it is.
Yeah. And apart from that, our business community are so supportive. There's no competition. Everybody helps each other. We have the most beautiful retreats and celebrations where and that is not only a party. I mean, often they're alcohol free, which is actually a really good thing, because you get up-leveled. We learn things, we integrate, we do meditations, yoga, we laugh, we cry, we dance, we have a fantastic time, and come out of there again uplifted, up-leveled, a different person. So yeah, I really, really value that. And yeah, I'll tell you a little story. When I think it's about 4 years ago now, we had major bushfires going through our area, where we got hugely affected. We kept our houses on the farm, which was great, but we lost a lot of other things. And I know I told Carmen straight after, I have to step out of the business for I don't know how long, because I was in survival mode. I couldn't continue at that stage, apart from the fact we didn't have internet for weeks. We recovered after a few months. We were sort of back on track. I mean, it took a bit longer than that to really recover. But I started missing our community. I started missing the business. It called to me again. So when I was in the right space again, I went back into it. And the beautiful thing is you don't lose rank in this business. I came back into it at exactly the same level as I left it. And the other part was that our community supported me in a most amazing way during those fires. And I didn't really find out about after that, but oh, they were totally amazing. So I really, really value that, probably most of all.
I would agree, Maria, and I'm so pleased that you touched on that and spoke in depth on that, because when my life changed and I took a different direction in order to heal, like you, stepping out after the bushfire, but my time out was much longer. And it was when I began to feel that I was more on my feet again, it was the need for that supportive community that brought me back into the online business, because it's the community, isn't it? They are so supportive, uplifting, and encouraging.
Yeah,
it's great. And you mentioned the retreats, and we've both been on a retreat, and you're off to Japan, are you, this year?
Yeah. In July, because it's Enegic's 50th birthday. So a lot of us are heading to Okinawa, where they've put on a special conference and special event for the 50th birthday, which is very, very exciting, because I know at those events, it's just brilliant. You see everybody that you've seen online, and they're all there for real, which is, of course, so much better. So, I'm really looking forward to that.
And you mentioned it's Enegic's 50th birthday, and that's the company we are affiliated with, isn't it? They've been around for 50 years. They have a fantastic compensation plan, and the retreats that we get to go on. I know for myself, the ones that I've been on have been to places that I would never have thought to have been able to go to. So it's the experience of a new place. It's the camaraderie of the people who are there. It's the special treats, and it's the learning that happens there as well, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Learning and the networking, and being in the room with, 6, 7, 8-figure a month earners who've been, are going before us, being in that same room, energetically, that really does something to you. And
it does, doesn't it? Yes. And I was reading, as we travel along this road, we are learning and growing into the person who can accommodate the extra wealth. So the person that you are with that money is not the same person back here. And that's the beauty of it.
Totally true. And that's what we're learning, to becoming the person we need to be for the next step and the next step and the next level.
So, Maria, thank you very much for joining me this morning and stepping out of your comfort zone like I did. But it's always interesting to hear other people's stories that, you and I, farmers' wives, empty nesters, and here we are stepping out of our comfort zones, ready to make a change and a difference.
Yeah. So, if anybody is curious, reach back out to Margarita and find out about. We actually have a very exciting masterclass coming up this week.
We do, don't we?
Yes. Which would be, and it's free. So come and watch that and learn more. Just find out that there is another world out there, another way of earning an income online, and it's very fun and very inspirational. So reach out for the link.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.